We've got NHL Hall of Famer Jeremy Roenick with us right now. And I want to start hot here. So we were chit-chatting right before this, and you said you got a good Michael Jordan story, and people have low attention span, so let's get him. Let's get him right from the jump.
Well, I've told that Michael Jordan story a lot about, playing 36 holes and him going out and scoring 56 points in the last game of the season. But I think a lot of people should understand how good of a competitor Michael Jordan really is. When you talk about going to play golf and making sure that he wins no matter what, that's his whole life. He's the biggest competitor and the most grinder I've ever seen. We played literally a Sunday afternoon going to play golf at Butterfield in Chicago, and my wife always is like, listen, on Sundays we always eat at home. I'm going to make dinner at home. We're going to eat with the kids, and whoever comes over is fine. But Sunday we eat at home. So this happened to be a Sunday where we're playing in the afternoon, and we go out. And Michael and I play. I take a little bit of money off in the game, and I'm getting ready to go back to my house. And he goes, "No, we're going to go into the clubhouse." So I'm like, I can't go. My wife's getting ready to make dinner, and I got to go. And he's like, "No, we got to go in the clubhouse. We got to go, do some other business." And I call my wife. I said, "Tracy, I can't come home for dinner." She's like, "You know the rules. You got to come home. You got to come home for dinner." Yeah. And I'm like, I know, but Michael won't let me. So Michael grabs the phone and he's like, "Miss Tracy, Jeremy's not coming home for dinner. He'll be home later." He's like, "Okay, Michael, that's whatever." So I grabbed, "Thanks. You just threw me under the bus, Tracy." And then she said, "You owe me." But anyway, after the golf round, Michael wanted to go in and play gin. And I don't know if anybody knows how good of a gin player that Michael Jordan is. He might be a great basketball player, but he might be a better gin player because he took me for 5 digits, 5 digits on the gin table, which I've never seen anybody be able to handle a deck of cards like Michael Jordan. Amazing, wow. Absolutely amazing. So it totally took it to another level.
But what isn't he good at card game wise? Because every time I see him, he's winning at cards. It doesn't matter what game I've seen him play, it's always he's winning. So I don't know, does he like peel the corner or something so he knows?
I don't know. It was like that sense that he had when he played, right? No matter where he was in the court, he knew where the basket was. He knew exactly how to release it. He knew everything that was happening in the court. And when you talk about pro sports, we with pro sports, we see the Gretzky's, the Lemieux in hockey. We see the Michael Jordans and the Chamberlains and all the guys that played, the basketball and even so on and so on, right? Tom Brady's football. They have a knack for having a touch, having a sense, knowing stuff. And I think Michael Jordan just has the knack and the sense for a lot of different things. And he was, I think his mentality of wanting to be better, of striving to be better, not just to get one up on you, but he just always loved to have that strength and that power of being good at everything. And I look up to him more than anything. And he's why I'm so competitive too.
Where are we at on the state of the NHL right now? What do you like? What do you not like?
I love the talent level. The talent level is absolutely off the chart. When I played back in the late 80s, early 90s, we had fighters, we had fourth liners that were there to do certain things. In today's game, there are fourth liners that can skate and shoot like first liners back in the day. They're big, they're strong, they're fast. Everybody can shoot the puck 100 miles an hour. The difference is what lays between the ears, right? The IQ aspect and being able to keep up mentally with the speed. Not many people are like Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby or Nathan McKinnon that can play the game at a high level and a high speed. But as talent goes, they all look like babies. They all look like they should be in high school. They're all in great shape. When I played, they looked like they should be in prison. They all look like they should be in prison, right? All out of shape and beards and no teeth, receding hairlines, and we didn't take care of ourselves like they do now. It was tougher back then. It was a big man's game back then, but now it's a talent riddled league that's
faster, right? It's faster. It's just so much faster. Like there isn't any really the enforcer guys, and because they can't. Most of those guys didn't skate well enough to be able to say, and nobody really
enforcers are gone.
Guys don't fight anymore either.
I think there's 2 enforcers left in the game, and that kind of has moved out. So now, when you do have fights, you have the guys that are like literally the old school mentality guys that can play the game and can fight at the same time. But the fighting is really kind of taking a back seat to the talent side. But Yeah, it's a fun game to watch. I still wish everybody wishes that they saw a couple more fights in the game, but Florida Panthers now just won their back-to-back championships. They're kind of bringing back a little bit more of the old school mentality, the in your face, the banter, the the punch in the mouth sort of mentality that a lot of people watch. And it's a culture within their team, and the culture I think everybody's watching. So I think you're going to get back in the National Hockey League to start seeing more of that grit and that kind of that rough and tumble type of hockey that Florida Panthers have played the last couple.
So how much did it make your heart happy when the Kachuk boys dropped the gloves? I mean, let's go Canada.
By
We
the
ain't
way,
scared.
isn't that amazing? The Four Nations was, I think, it's probably the best thing to happen to hockey since the Olympics. Maybe 1980 or maybe 2002 when we won a silver medal. It was the best hockey because we saw the patriotism of every team. We saw every guy play really hard. And then when Canada met US, you saw where the rivalry and where hockey meets greatness. And the Kachucks dropping the gloves. There's 3 fights in the first 9 seconds.
That's awesome.
And the whole entire, I don't think the whole entire nation, I think the whole entire world saw what hockey players stand for and what their countries mean to them. And we probably acquired 10 or 20 million new viewers and likers of the game that I think will relay onto the Olympics next year in February, which I think a lot of people are looking forward to, but also into the World Cup in the off years. It was the best hockey ever. And leave it to the Kachucks, right? leave it to Keith Kachuk's kids to spark that kind of enthusiasm for the game.
Should every sport do that at the All-Star break?
Fight?
Yeah, fight. I think so.
Well, fight. Absolutely. That would really amp up the ratings.
I think, hey, listen, I think there's one thing about athletes, doesn't matter where they're from, they love their country. There's multinational players in baseball, obviously. Basketball, not as much, but there are. Football, not as much, but hockey, it's multinational, right? With Finland, Sweden, Czech, Russia, Switzerland, U.S., Canada. There's some really big, that all love their countries, and especially the Russians when it comes. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to participate this year, but that's why it would be great come next, the 2028 with the World Cup, where the Russians will be in there with the Czechs, will be in there with the Swedes, will be in there with the Finns, and try to tackle U.S. and Canada as the world powers.
Will Canada ever win another Stanley Cup? Because I'm all for Florida winning every one. So I mean,
Wow.
I'm from Florida, so I'm like, yeah, bring it on every time. It's like Tampa, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Tampa,
Florida hockey
So
state.
what's
That's
crazy?
right. Hey, the Winter Classics at Lone Depot.
It's true. And it's a funny thing that you said that, because it is Canada's game, and Canada says this is our game. It's our game, our game. But the last cup they won was in 1993.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 32 years since the Canadian cities have won a cup. And obviously that's not Canada's fault, but it would be nice to see the Canadian team win. That's why I think a lot of people were rooting for Edmonton.
I wasn't.
In the last,
I wasn't.
Of course you weren't.
You
Of course you weren't. Of course you weren't. I wasn't either, by the way, because I'm a Kachuk fan. But anyway, I do think it's coming soon. It's a hard mark. There's only 6 or 7 teams in Canada right now, so obviously it's a hard race to do. The cup is the hardest thing to win. I played 21 years, never won it once. Got to the finals once, so I understand how elusive it is. And Canada understands how elusive it is. 32 years and counting.
That's crazy. So obviously, yeah, it's not Canadians' fault, right? The Canadian players are all over the NHL. Whose fault is it? Like, have those teams have just had bad runs of GMs or GMs that can't take their team over the top?
Edmonton was everyone thought was going to win the last 2
obviously
years.
is just now, but I'm talking for 32 years. What is going on?
Well, I think it becomes, and you don't like to get political or anything of that nature into sports, but when you talk about 2 countries and 2 countries that rule their country is totally different, whether it's taxes, politics, whatever the case may be. You're in Montreal or Toronto, and you're paying 60% tax on the salary that the NHL gives, when you can go down to Florida and pay no state tax. I mean, the difference is, millions and millions of dollars, plus the weather, plus the intricacies of what America gives in terms of Canada. So, and even the Canadians want to come down and play in America because they don't want to have to pay 60% taxes up in Canada. And And I think there's a little bit to that when it comes to free agency. If you're sitting there and a team from Winnipeg wants you to come play in Winnipeg and they're going to offer you $9 million, and you have the Florida Panthers that want you and they're offering you $7 million, you're going to Florida for lots of different reasons. And that becomes very, very difficult in terms of the politics of sports. And, unfortunately, when you're in Canada, you're going to pay 60% across the board in taxes. That's going to affect a lot of people that are going to move in free agency. Free agency is what helps build teams up to be great, right? It's not just the draft. You can do it through the draft, but it's a long process. It's where you can get guys to sign with the team. That's why Vegas became so good, because everybody wants to go to Vegas. Everybody wants to go to
They don't have any income tax there either, right?
No. Or Texas. Those are the three.
In baseball right now,
too.
it's like you've got the administration like, oh, we have to have a salary cap. They're going to run into state problems like that too.
100%. And you see, it's like the last 6 years, the finals, the NHL finals have been in Florida. Tampa 3 times, and you have Florida 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason for that. Dallas is right there. I mean, they went to the conference final in the last couple of years. So you're seeing this happen. And unfortunately, it's one of the bad things about sports is that politics comes into it and logistics, but I don't think you'll ever get rid of that.
Because it's money. I mean, it's taxes. It's money. I mean, it makes sense.
Listen, I'm never going to say anything bad about someone to make a lot of money because, as you know, AJ, you're only in the sport for a short period of time, and you need to make as much as you possibly can. And if they're going to pay you, take it. But you have a short period of time to make as much money that is going to last you the rest of your life. And some people don't handle it right. Some people don't structure it right or understand that. But that's the nature of the game.
Okay, 2 things before I think we have to let you go to your tea time.
Yep.
So I guess we'll get to golf too. But two more things on hockey. One, some of the reason the Canadian hockey's down is Toronto hasn't been good for a long time. I mean, they're better now, but they haven't been close to really winning for a long time.
That's because I that's my fault.
That's your fault?
Yeah, I knocked them out in 2004 in the second round, and I just demoralized them so bad in 2004 in the second round. I scored in the game 6 overtime, knocked them out. They've only won, I think, 2 series since, and was it 21 years? So
that is wild.
Yeah,
that is because they're like the Yankees, the Red Sox, like the big. They're
JR Jinx.
It's a JR Jinx, but I will have to say Toronto is by far the hardest place to play in the National Hockey League. In terms of media coverage, fan expectations, you can't go anywhere without somebody saying, how the hell did you just go off sides on the, in that play that they scored a goal? They know everything, so they're scrutinized. So when you get on that ice, they know that they're being watched. They know they're going to get talked about on the media, whether it's radio, television, or newspaper. It's going to be. And I think that's intimidating for a lot of players. I think it's a tough place to play in Toronto.
All right, before we get to golf, best American-born hockey player.
Mike Modano.
Really?
To me, Mike Modano, Chris Chelios.
I was going to say, I would have thought you would have said Chelly.
Well, Mike is a forward, Chelly is a defenseman. It's easy.
Where do you rank on that list?
I'm third.
You're third behind those guys?
Yeah.
Okay. He's got it set.
That's fair.
You're not the first person to ask that one.
I thought you would have said Chelly because you guys were together in Chicago.
Well, those two, to me, epitomize. Well, Chelly is Mr. Hockey, Mr. USA. He's Captain America. There's nobody that has loved the game, committed to the game, and played the game like Chelly. He played 26 years in the league. He retired in 46 years old, and still today he can probably get.
Is there anyone with more energy than Chris Chelios in the world?
No.
I've never seen a guy, and obviously in Chicago, I'm around him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He goes all day, all night, gets up the next day, goes all day, all night, and just I'm like, Chelly, how in the world do you do this every day?
Have you ever heard the expression Greek God?
Yeah, he's we used to call him the Tanimal because he's so tan.
Was named because of Chris Chelios.
Yeah. He used to go in the sauna after games and ride the bike in the sauna. It's crazy to me.
Still does.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Still does.
Yeah. Wait, what about any of the new guys? Not yet. Too soon. Even Patrick Kane. I mean, he's been around a minute. Too soon.
Listen. He just passed me in points.
Yeah.
3 cups.
3 cups. Auston Matthews is going to go down as the best goal scorer when he is said and done. Patrick Kane's probably going to go down as the, one of the best players. I don't think he'll pass Modano in points. He's trying to catch me in goals. I think he's 8 goals from 500 right now, so he's chasing that. But he's getting up there. It gets harder as you get older. But Patrick Kane, for sure, is in the top 5 best Americans of all time. And you're going to see Auston Matthews become the best goal scorer of all time.
All right, here at the Pro, who have you had the best conversation with, or are you looking forward to talking to? There's good names here.
There's some great names. You know, I got a good hockey contingency here, which is great. So, and you know, I've been in this for years and years and years. So there's nobody that I haven't crossed paths with. But I love to compete against Joe Pavelski. I want to go after Joe. He's obviously the guy to go after. Marty Fish and Mulder and all the guys that really, as golf goes, they're who we're trying to strive to beat. So I hope I get into one of those foursomes with them, so I can compete against them, and I can also be in tournaments.
Yeah. It's cool. You bring all the sports together. It's great.
The Pro has been an amazing addition to, I think, the sports world, and I think the way that they're trying to structure this, which is really good, because everybody is watching sports on the weekend, and what these guys want to do is they want to take professional athletes that everybody's kind of drawn to, everybody's enamored with. They want to see on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, play golf. And when somebody on a Tuesday has nothing to watch, especially in the wintertime, why not watch some celebrity golf? And I think these guys have really nailed this idea, and it's up to us to make sure we give them the best product.
All right, well, we'll be watching.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Sounds good, guys.
Great combo. Appreciate it.
All right. Wish me luck.